Hey guys, happy new month. I can't believe that February has gone by so quickly. February was an interesting month for me because half of it I was sick. So I got some type of a cold. I don't know what to call it, but the types of colds that we have since COVID, I think they're quite different. So I was out for a week. Then it took another week for me to like recover fully. And so that's why I say the half of February I was like sick. And so, yeah, but I did manage to read my favorite read of that month, which was The Full Picture. And so I wanted to give a review. I have a review on my website now. This one, the review that's on my website focuses on the writing style and what I liked about the book, and it doesn't have any spoilers. At least I don't think so. And so I wanted to do a YouTube video now because I can talk more freely about it and I can get into detail about the specific things that I liked. And yeah, I will try not to give any spoilers, but there will be some references from the book that I will be talking about. And so let's get right into it. So the full picture, it was written by Jessica Carmichael. She's a Canadian author, and this is her debut novel. It follows the life of Robin, who is a first year university student at the University of Toronto, and her mom died when she was young, and so she lives with her dad. The dad, I believe, he owns a pharmacy, and there was a fallout between the dad and her mother's side of the family, but she doesn't know exactly what happened. All she knows is the dad does not like to talk about her mom, and so there's always this mystery around her mom and just kind of wanting to know what happened. She gets invited to Ghana by her grandmother on her mother's side for a 70th birthday, and she decides to go to take it as an opportunity to go and learn more about her mom. And yeah, she gets there. She goes in December. She meets this guy, Osei, who picks her up from the airport. Her cousin's the one who's supposed to pick her up from the airport, but then Osei picks her up from the airport. And yeah, so Osei picks her up. And then as we follow along the story, we get to see, there's an attraction there between Robin and Osei. And then Osei's friend, stroke cousin, I'm not quite sure, Calvin, who actually lives in Toronto, but he's also Ghanaian, has also come to Ghana in December for like the holidays. And he is more, what's the word? He's more upfront. Like he asks Robin out and they start dating. And so she kind of likes both of them. And so while that's happening in her love life, she's also finding out secrets and just finding out what happened with her mom side of the family and her dad. And yeah, so her mom wasn't perfect and like things like that. So it's very much coming of age, very much your it's written in first person point of view from Robin's point of view, and so we get to really get to know her as a character and understand her thought process and how she's doing things. And so I would say this was like a really good read, honestly. It was just under 300 pages. I read it, I think, over 2 weeks because I was reading like one chapter or two chapters a day. The chapters are quite short, so that is nice. I like that about the book. And yeah, what else? There were some cool references in there that I could recognize. Like, for example, there was a reference to, what's this guy? I think Nigel from America's Next Top Model. So I haven't watched the America's Next Top Models seasons, but I have watched the documentary, and it's funny because I had watched the documentary, and I think like the next day is when I read the sentence about like the little reference from Nigel, and so I was like, oh, cool. It was cool to like see in the book because I was like, oh, I get that. I know who Nigel is. Versus if I had not watched the documentary, I would not have known. And it just kind of happened that way. Like it wasn't like I read the sentence and then went to watch America's Next Top Model, but no. So that was really cool. And then there was a reference to a movie called Beyond the Light. I'd never heard of that movie. And so I remember after reading that chapter, I paused reading, and then the next day I watched the movie Beyond the Light, and it was cool because it gave me a better understanding of what Osei and Robin were talking about. And so that was really cool. I like that. And then there were also some references to like Canada. I live in Canada, so it was nice to understand some of the little things that were like mentioned here and there that were like Canada specific. And yeah, I also got to learn a little bit about Guinean culture. I'm not gonna claim to say I learned a lot, but like I was like, oh, this is some of the stuff that's like, so the writer did, yeah, she incorporated some Guinean culture in there, so that was really cool. And I also learned that Stormzy, the musician, is actually Guinean, like his heritage is Guinean. All the time I thought he was Nigerian. So so that was like a funny, yeah, because when I like see things like that in a book, I will usually go and I'll look it up just to verify. So that's how I was like, oh, Storms is actually Ghanaian. So that was cool. Yeah, I found the book easy to read and yeah, super simple. Like, yeah, easy language to understand. It kept me engaged throughout. And it was my first 5-star read of the year, guys. I was so happy considering I had to DNF a previous book. So I was so happy. And then what else about the book? Oh, yeah. So I have my opinion. So between Team Osei and Team Calvin, I'm Team Calvin, but I'm not going to share the reasons in this video because I don't want to give spoilers. But you can find the reasons on, I think I posted this on my Instagram or my TikTok. If I find it, I'll try and put the link in the description. But yeah, if you've read the book, I'm curious to know who you are. Like, are you Team Osei or are you Team Calvin? Because, yeah, I know from like a book standpoint, Osei is the appropriate answer, but I am still Team Calvin. But yeah, it wasn't like a romance book. It more so focused on the character herself and just how she's navigating like this whole adulting, even like her wanting to follow in terms of academics, her wanting to follow in the footsteps of her dad, but then her having an interest in photography. So trying to balance and figure, okay, what do I want for my life, and having those tough conversations with parents. Yeah, it was it was a light read, even though it did have like heavy content in terms of like grief and loss, but I didn't feel the heaviness too much just because of the way the author wrote this book. So if you're looking for something light and easy to read and enjoyable and has a little bit of everything, this is a book for you for sure. You should read it. And yeah, well, thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.